Hi y'all, welcome back. I'm Axel, and the other day I had the absolute pleasure to talk to Austin Roa, who has shot concert photos and videos for Hozier, Lumineers, AJR, and more. I kicked off this channel announcing that I would go from 1 to 10 sources of income in 2022 by trying out new things, following the 3 pillars that I kind of made for myself, which are creativity, finance, and self-development. So it would be impossible to go without sharing Austin's story about how he got his start from college kid to touring photographer with some of the biggest names in music. It's super inspiring, it's really crazy. So if you're like me and are curious about unique or creative ways to finance your future or find success, then I'm sure we've got a lot to learn from Austin. So let's get started, but first, please stop that like button and subscribe. And with that said, let's break down this story and see what we can learn from it. So first of all, Austin is on the grind. I don't think there's anyone I've ever met who is serious about music who isn't on the grind, to be honest. Music's just one of those industries where you have to give it your all. There's no in-betweens. And I've definitely learned that. Been a part of 4 bands. My first band was actually a ska band. Kind of embarrassing. So Austin got his start shooting at Free Press Summer Fest in Houston, Texas, RIP, where he shot for a local Houston band, and he took advantage of being there. You know, no credentials, just general admission ticket. He took advantage of being there to shoot for a local band, and he went ahead and shot Robert DeLong's set and made a sick edit for $0. He didn't get paid. He wasn't expecting to get paid. Now I have a lot of feelings about grind culture, but when people are passionate about something, they get it done. I would definitely not encourage anyone to go like months without sleep or rest. I know I lived it. It's super detrimental to your health, to your creativity, and to your clarity. But there's definitely a healthy balance. And I think the problem is when we get comfortable with where we're at and refuse to do anything more with our life outside of our full-time jobs. But anyways, Austin then took that video that he shot for free and put it in a thumb drive and took it with him to go see a Robert DeLong show at South by Southwest. He knew Robert would be there, and he showed up with his camera, and he looked like he was shooting. So somebody outside the door asked him, are you shooting the show? He said yes, but he doesn't condone, so Austin doesn't condone sneaking into shows, made that very clear. But this time, he felt like he had an in, and that's that at Free Press, he actually introduced himself to Robert DeLong. So he had made that connection, that first impression, and was hoping that Robert would give him the go-ahead to go ahead and shoot his set that night. And you know what? It worked. It's crazy. I know that I would be a little shy to do something like that, but that's a whole part of networking and being out there and putting yourself out there. No one's gonna see your work unless you literally put it out for the world. So it worked out for him, and I think that that's something that I'm definitely take out of this story so far. But yeah, it worked for him because Robert vouched for him at the door. He saw that somebody was stopping him saying, hey, like, you don't have the right credentials. But Robert was like, no, hey, he's with me. So that's insane. I know a lot of people are probably thinking, would he be where he is today if Robert DeLong hadn't vouched for him that day? And, honestly, maybe it wouldn't be the same story, but I think he'd be there, if not really close. So something I stand firmly behind, and what I think this story actually confirms is that people often say things like, well, she got lucky. Well, he wouldn't be able to do that if he started over today. But I truly believe that you can't get lucky if you don't put in the work first. So you can put in the work and get lucky, or maybe you won't get lucky, but either way, you'll be in a better place than you are today. But there's absolutely no way that you can get lucky if you don't put in the work first. So Austin put in the work by shooting for little money to no money for that local band, and put in the work to shoot for Robert DeLong at Free Press for free. He edited it, put in the time, found out where Robert would play, when he would be at his city, and he took that chance. He took advantage of that. He took advantage of his assets, which at the time were his time, his skills, and at that moment, it was a very cheap camera. I believe it was a Rebel T3i. Austin then asked after that show, he asked Robert DeLong how to get to shoot for artists like him and how to make that his life. And the only advice that Robert gave him was just make cool shit. And that's just, that made a big impact on me, because just make cool shit, I think in such a short phrase encompasses a lot of things, like just make stuff, you know, just go ahead and make stuff, but it's not enough to sit on your butt, but also it's not enough to just make a bunch of stuff that, you know, you're not proud of, a bunch of stuff that isn't going to add any value or contribute to the world. So just make cool, you know, it means like make stuff and make it good. Or at least, you know, make it good for you. If it's something that you think is valuable to you, or that you would have liked to learn, hear, watch, it would have inspired you for something, then, you know, maybe it'll have that same effect on someone else. And that's kind of what I'm hoping to do here as well. After the show, Austin got an email the next morning from Robert DeLong thanking him for the photos and videos, which basically opened it up for Austin to make the next move. So, you know, what would you do if you had gotten, you know, lucky up to this point? His story could have stopped there as well. And that's why I think this is such a cool story and a source of inspiration. A kick in the butt to get going and put in the work. I like to put myself in other people's shoes and think about like what I would have done, how maybe my decisions would have changed the story for the better, for worse, and then think about how that impacts your daily decisions every day. So yeah, if you like this story and want to watch my interview with Austin, which was an absolute pleasure, please subscribe to get those notifications. I'll be posting that real soon, so yeah, take it easy, y'all. By the way, you can find his full breakdown of his story on YouTube, on his YouTube channel. I'll go ahead and put a link down below.